Welcome back, everyone, to HGC Open Division North America Cup number 3. We just witnessed a very interesting start for Wrong Orc, followed up by a very standard and convincing composition. And now they'll be taking on FWC esports. I'm Halorin, joined by Bahamut. It's been a fun night so far, man.
It has been an absolute blast, and we've seen some really interesting compositions. If you missed any of the games, I 1000% recommend going back and catching the VOD tomorrow or at some point because they were out of control. I mean, triple specialist games, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I got to say for you to go back and need to go and check those games out. It was absolutely awesome to check out and watch. And now we are getting set here in our matchup between Wrong Orc and FWC esports. And I'm actually looking at FWC, and I'm seeing a lot of names here. This is actually, I think this is the old 2+2 roster that now got picked up by FWC esports, I do believe. So really nice to see them kind of progressing here, getting picked up by an organization, it looks like. And now we're going to be going into Sky Temple, and not a map we've seen tonight. And to be honest, it's not a map that I personally see a ton of play on. It's really kind of in the back of the options for, I think, some of the teams here.
Well, I mean, it's a battleground where almost any style of composition can theoretically work. If there is going to be an instance where you see Abathur show up early in a draft, Sky Temple generally can be one of those scenarios. And we saw that Wrong Orc knows how to play that to great effect. They enjoy the luxuries of first pick, first ban. I'm wondering how much FWC esports did or did not see out of that last series. Because if they don't ban Abathur here, and they don't, the clown fiesta could begin right now.
And you, I think you said it right at the start. Is, you know, this Abathur ban, I'm like Sky Temple Mule. Like, yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you not, especially after you come off of a game from Volskaya Foundry that well played, where they only lost, I believe, one structure and they lost that keep front gate. Like, they really did a lot of great play here. But FWC esports are going to come straight out the gate with a Dahaka and a Phoenix, and I really like that. That's a strong start here. But we are skipping right through this draft. As do they just pick up the same draft? Do they pick up this? Okay, no, it's a different draft.
They shake it up a bit. The pulse bombs from Tracer, the high level mechanical skill means Tracer's going to be in good hands this game. The Dahaka does put Abathur on notice to a degree as far as body soaking goes, but there's still oodles of value to be had out of taking him for the first pick. Hanzo, I get it. He does a lot. He can help boss clear. As the Dragon Arrow for backline engagement, great hero. Out of escape options with natural agility.
Yep.
But you leave Abathur open to the Wrong Orc, that could be the wrong move. We'll see.
That's like leaving Murky open for IQ 129. Have you been watching the Open Division in Europe at all?
I have, yeah.
It is. I left the room earlier today and I came back and I had seen them play it before, but I came back in the room and I was like, how are you still playing this? Like, it's another week and like no one's figured out how to like deal with your it. Also, if you're not watching the Open Division in Europe, go watch the Open Division in Europe too. Like, I think like 90% of like the content that I actually see on my other monitor throughout the entire day is just always Heroes, because there's China in the morning, then there's Europe after that, and then there's North American at night, and then you sprinkle in some HGC that you might have missed. So there's a lot of cool stuff to be watching. So just make sure you are catching those games. But back into this draft, we do have a ban onto the Garrosh as well as the Malfurion. So not wanting to deal with the repositional factor from Garrosh in those team fights, and don't really want to have any sort of healing that comes out from Malfurion. And on a map like this, it seems like it could be the way to go. But overall, they could just run that solo Abathur again, and that could be the road that they're going down.
I'm almost confident that that's the exact road they're going down. Muradin doesn't necessarily need a whole lot of support if he doesn't get down too much. Goes ahead, hits the trait, steps back, comes back. So Abathur can put a lot of their attention and resources to hatting the Tracer. You close the garage door by banning Garrosh out. Oh, they are gonna go support. They want to go Rhaegar. When you go Tracer and Jaina, I wouldn't necessarily leave that squishy back line to just Abathur. Double Jaina can be neat. Double Tracer can be neat also. But the Garrosh ban, that means no taunt to worry about. The
counter dive. Okay.
FWC.
I will note this though on the topic of Abathur clones, the Jaina does benefit from her initial stacking onto a member in the clone form too. So you do get that increased damage from the Abathur clone if talking trees on the Jaina right now were to get any sort of blizzard or anything onto them. An Abathur clone can sit there and come out the bush and just start bodying them. So we'll see that. But the Valera is interesting, maybe to shut down this Tracer and as well as get into the backline onto the Jaina, maybe even go Abathur hunting if we want to use an old term when we used to see Zeratul get picked on Towers of Doom when it first came out. You go Abathur hunting and just pick them off and never let them get that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the Valera pick isn't the Omega lull that it used to be, especially if you're playing Abathur this game. You're out there trying to live your life. You put the hat on Tracer, you're following Tracer around, and suddenly you're like, wait, why does it say you have died? Because on the other side of the map, Krovan on Valera found where you're chilling at. But Jasper said was hoping for the Ginger Dread and the Zebra.
Oh.
You're right.
Rudeness.
That's the response. Exactly. Next best of 3 is up on the left side. We have Wrong Orc. Tracer's being played by Nesper. Zanehide's going to be on Murden. Zergling will be boogieing on Abathur. And Sori dropping Ancestor Healings with Rhaegar. And Talking Trees will be slinging ice on Jane.
And on the right-hand side, we are going to be having the members of FWC esports with Axon going to be on the Phoenix, Krovan going to be on that Valera, McNulty going to be on the Joanna. We have Redder on the Karazim, and Flyest Raven on the wrong-colored Dahaka.
You hate to see it.
Baseline skin, oof. But we are going to be having this... the start of this game is going to be the Murden and the Dahaka looking at trying to get this point, but Flyest Raven will just dip right out of there. Doesn't want to deal with that just yet. But McNulty and friends are going to be going ahead and trying to burst down this this tower down here, get a little bit of early experience, also taking up the side gate, just making Abathur's life a little bit harder, opening up some avenues for Valir to get some dive. But Nesper and Talking Trees and Dentari, they all come down here. They don't want to allow that to happen, as we have the first kill of the game going over in favor for Wrong Orc here.
I mean, the 4-person rotation wasn't exactly a surprise. I mean, you saw 4 heroes rotate in the lane, and the active decision FWC made was, let's turn around and engage.
We got this, guys.
They found out. They found out what it's like. So that's going to be first takedown and first blood going over in favor of Wrong Orc. And we might see some more passive, respectable play coming out of FWC after.
After that, I wouldn't expect them to be as aggressive. Maybe they'll just take this a little bit slower. But we have the bush being scouted out by Zanehide. They know that they're on the siege camp. I wouldn't Oh, they're going to make this rotation. Silence out from the Valera. Zanehide and some friends are going to be rotating on this. The camp hasn't been claimed yet. We have Zanehide jumping onto the point. They want to steal this away. We have the pulse bomb going out onto Axon. Going to need to back off here as Redder going to get that healing. That will be the camp going over to the members of FWC esports. But at the same time, Wrong Orc, they're really starting to make some statements early game here.
The Hackers showed up to say, hey, we do not go for that global level engage. If you catch yourself too far extended. Valir, though a well-timed silence could definitely be a factor also, but thus far, Wrong Orc have been able to stave off that style of engagement. Nolty, Red Sword, Axon hanging out, down bot still. Not sure they want to burn the Iron Skin anymore like they have been, just to clear it, just to get at that tower, because with the aggressive rotations coming in from Wrong Orc, you might want that to be available.
And once again, they're just going to pressure onto this bottom lane. They really, really want to open this up. They want to... The only thing I can think is just really just challenging the Abathur and having them push back. And the other thing, too, is taking out as much as you can early game here or weakening it while Abathur doesn't have Mule before 7. This is huge for them because the more structured damage they can do early and before this phase, that's great because then these shots will be extremely powerful. And the other thing to consider is that the members of Wrong Orc are going to consistently fight down one member until level 10 when they have the clone option available, and they're going to continue to push down this bottom lane, taking up the well, really preparing almost for the second phase of temples after this one.
For the most part, Wrong Orc seem to be okay with giving up that bottom wall and some change. Iron Skin's going to allow Johanna to take that easy stroll out, turns around, catches a Stormbolt for the face afterwards. But like you said, Bahamut, the road to 10 is definitely going to be something that FWC wants to try to maximize their potential value out of. Flyest Raven hits the burrow. Is that going to be the setup for the second takedown? Burrow comes up, eats some more of the Blizzard. Nesper with a shred of health is going to be able to escape. Zanehide hits the dwarf toss over the wall to make his daring exit as well. Cheeky play from both teams, no takedowns.
No takedowns just yet, but the wound poison from Valeera doing so much, just denying the heals onto Tracer. That's a big aspect that I'm excited to see later on in this game. But we do have Murden currently holding the top point, and they're sieging with this as well. I really like this play from the members of Wrong Orc as they start to dive on, but that is going to be the recall at the last second. Nesper getting out with just barely any health. That recall was just on time, as it looks like they get the fort and continue to hold that top point.
So much attention afforded towards Nesper's Tracer, and they were an auto attack away from netting their first takedown, but with that recall, that allows Nesper to get out, and it cost him quite a bit. Jazz hands were waving the entire time as the first fort gets taken down, gives a slight experience lead over to Wrong Orc. They keep chipping away like that. That's going to have a huge impact later on.
And that's the big thing is, and we've seen this from a lot of their compositions. They're really, really good at this kind of chipping away, as you said. Like we saw it on the Volskaya Foundry map when they ran 3 specialists. They didn't take a lot of early game fights. They got some kills here and there for some overextensions and maybe some fights that just went in their favor. But overall, they chipped away at the enemy until they basically were almost cornered. They made some bad plays, and then they just took advantage and snowballed through the bottom lane. So I really, really like this play that's been coming out from them here, where they're just they're taking camps across the map. They're almost looking at the map and saying, all right, there's 2 top, let's just go bottom, take their camp, and just apply pressure there.
You got to give props to HeroesHype also, having a heads-up decision-making to hang out in that bush and await the Valeera engagement, acting as the ward. That's what you see out of high-level tank players. That's what we're seeing out of HeroesHype. A huge push in the top lane with this Bruiser camp, though. If left to its own devices, couldn't net a fort, but in the grand scheme of things, Bahamut, I would easily trade my top fort if I'm able to get this bottom well and the whole structure over the next objective. And they're looking for a dinosaur also. That burrow's going to save him for the moment, but he's monk-ass underground as that pulse bomb goes in, the second takedown of the game.
And you said it, the trade here is not worth it. They opened this up so much, and this is the big thing too, is the next objective is bottom lane, and they have complete control. But what is this top lane push? They're going to continue and try and go for a keep at this point. I mean, they've got the spell armor. Yes, that's great, but tens aren't here for either team. You still have Valeera in the bottom lane. What is it? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what just happened, honestly.
FWC is out here playing a little bit of No Limit Texas Hold'em, man. It's just like all in. Let's just keep pushing. I mean, it got them up on experience. They got the level 10 first. They did trade out the bottom fort. They're not going to have that well, so if they do decide to go in, they kind of have to win this team fight. But the bottom well's taken down also on the side of Wrong Orc. Iron Skin gets used early. A lot of chip damage goes in. Axon tries to step forward. Flies Raven misses the bobblehead. Hits the drag. Nesper is going to get recalled before he gets recalled back to base almost after the follow-up engagement. But no takedown on Tracer just yet.
Double Jaina at this point. We have Krovan a little bit low. McNulty gonna be using the Iron Skin once again. The Purification salvo gonna be coming out from Axon here. We have, oh my god, HeroesHype is so low, just under 500 health, getting poked by Akazin, but that will be the kill onto the Dahaka. Zergling doing a ton here. That will be the palm utilized onto McNulty here, but it won't be enough as they continue to get that kill onto the Joanna. Axon gonna be chased by the members of the team. I wouldn't be too surprised if they get this kill and just turn right onto the boss, have that, and put one member onto the objective, get double pressure, but I gotta say that was a phenomenal play from the members of Wrong Orc.
Yeah, I mean, again, Bahamut, that's another instance where we see Nesper go in, almost bite the dust, somehow makes a daring escape, and throughout that entire team fight, Ancestral Healing wasn't even necessary. So they managed to keep some of their squishier heroes alive, bait out a lot of time and attention from FWC esports, but oh no, the boogie worm Zergling, oh no.
Probably the worst death to see in this game. The poor slug getting caught out, and I gotta say that was great though, because being able to grab those two, that still is a great pick. Does allow you to get some experience here and just have that global pressure not available, and they can now take the time to apply pressure themselves, 1, and 2, clear the boss and bottom lane with a couple members. They can split across the map here. Great play, great pick. We'll see how this kind of unfolds here, as they're not burning this too quickly, but I don't think Jaina can do this on her own.
These team fights have been going over with a pretty narrow margin. Again, Nesper just able to escape each time, but they seem to be very comfortable with these narrow escapes and exits. So this is a team that's used to getting the maximum amount of value out of each hero's health pool. We've seen them rotate to great effect earlier on. Blessed Shield goes out, Bobblehead connects, the Cleanse goes in so Talking Trees can walk back. Krovan tries to get involved, gets a good amount of damage on the HeroesHype, but Murden is going to be pretty thick with 2 Cs. Chalvo goes out. Tracer's not going to be able to escape this one. Zergling with the clone backs away. Zainhide's going to jump out. This is the first time, Bahamut, we're starting to see some aggression come out successfully from FWC.
And that was really, really good for them. They don't have 13s just yet, but the thing is, taking down that one member denies the pressure that they can apply with those 13s. So I really like that. And finally, as you said, Nesper going down, getting caught out just a little too far that time. The recall didn't work out for them here, but we have this pressure in bottom lane that will need to be responded to. They're going to go ahead and grab a camp on the top right. That'll just pressure the top. We have two objectives popping up, and that will be in the mid and bottom. I'm curious to see how they'll split their teams. As we get into this later half here, it's hard to split your team, especially with the Abathur. You're going to want to make sure that you have someone that he can clone for that fight in either mid or bottom. And do they either stack all 5 or, ooh, this bush? This could be... But we don't even see them. We see them on the other side of the map. So I think once they grab this camp, they'll just back out of there.
Yeah, that's the old classic. You came into the wrong neighborhood, buddy. But with the vision already picked up by Wrong Orc, we don't see anyone on the side of FWC looking to get involved there. And why not? They didn't have level 13 at the moment. They finally do pick that up. Bottom fort could find itself eating some damage thanks to the siege camp that got picked up. But at level 7 for Abathur, we did see the mule. So anytime FWC tries to go for these structures, they gotta get the entire health bar, or else it was all for nothing.
Absolutely, and we pointed that out on the last map where there was that pressure, and they left the fort with the tower with just a little bit of health, and then we saw it go right back up to full. So definitely you want to keep an eye when you pressure. Just make sure you do it 100%. Get that experience and get that structure down. As McNulty and a couple friends posturing up on this point, we have the Dahaka Flyers Raven in that lane. Zainhide going to be coming out at this time. We have a huge brawl breaking out. The Jaina clone will be out as well. Krovan taking a bunch of damage. Going to have to back off here, as it looks like Atkinson going to be losing the shielding as well. Flyers Raven going to have to back off a little bit. I think popping the essence as well. Silence going to go out onto Zainhide, but that will be the purification salvo going out. Also going to have the ancestral healing connecting. Zainhide just continuing just to do whatever they want, as Herzine will be falling as well. Joanna dead. This is going so in favor for the members of Wrong Orc as they lose the Dahaka on the side of FWC esports, as well as the Phoenix. That's a full team wipe. Abathur steps up, and the rest of the team, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them grab the other temple or just move straight onto the keep.
It feels bad when Tracer puts that pulse bomb on you in recalls, and you're just like, well,
goodbye.
Guess I'm dead. So that's going to be a full ace in favor of Wrong Orc, a bottom keep, and 2 temples handily going over to the team in blue. They've established themselves in macro play. They've established themselves quite a bit in team fights. 11 takedowns to just dose on the side of FWC esports, a team that find themselves falling steadily behind and running out of options.
They're looking to get on to this Murden this time. Zainhide taking so much damage, gonna get the Dwarf Toss out. That will be the necessary Stormbolt to kind of stall this. The Karazim looking for that chase, but Talking Tree's going to be rounding the corner to join the team. They will finish out this temple, getting the last couple shots onto this mid lane, but hey, don't forget about Mule. Actually, Krovan, don't forget about Krovan getting caught out here by Tracer. That will also be the Pulse Bomb going out. Krovan with just a couple hundred health. Palm going to be coming out as well. They continue to move on this fight. Stormbolt going to be out. Zainhide looking for the kill. There is also going to be the Avatar form on top of that. Redder's so low, they just need to turn around. That will be the Dahaka falling here. That will be the Karazim down as well. Krovan able to get out, but that means they left the friends alone. And actually, the Stormbolt getting Krovan there. Axon the only one left alive, and they might be able to team wipe them one more time, but it looks like they move right onto the core here, and they want to end game number 1.
FWC, they wanted to start that argument up, but it was definitely Wrong Orc looking to put on the finishing points of the conversation. The chase nets them 4 more takedowns and a death push onto this core. The recall is going to help Nesper get out of there. The ancestral healing finally gets used to reset Nesper's health bar to round out game number 1. Wrong Orc, they got the Abathur in the first pick. I'm not going to say that was the entirety of why that game went that well, but it was definitely a part of it.
It went extremely well because they had consistent map pressure with the Abathur stacking up. Like, for example, right now, the Abathur did 11,600 in experience for the team. The closest was Dahaka with 7,600. So, yeah, I think Abathur gets a lot of value for them here, especially even with getting picked off once. Still, that's great play coming out from Wrong Orc. And now I'm curious to see, do we get that first ban Abathur like we saw in the last matchup, or do they risk letting that go through in our next game here? I don't know. Looking at that game 15-2, FWC esports, they got to look at this and they got to say, we need to adjust something. Maybe the Valier was too much of a, odd side pick for them and they didn't get the value that they're looking for. I don't know. I don't know how to kind of break it down, really.
The way that game went, the rest of the series could look to be more of a learning opportunity than anything else for FWC. But we did see some sparks of brilliance, I would say. I think they just need to make sure they got value off of the silence. If Curvin was able to get a silence, particularly on Tracer, and almost kill them or outright kill them, they could very handily win one of those team fights. It just didn't happen in that instance. I think we just saw Wrong Orc really starting to hit their stride. Ever since I started casting, I've seen Nesper in action, and he's always been one of those high stakes, go big or go home style of players, where it puts a lot on the shoulders of the support to keep someone that likes to be out in the front line like that alive. And then Tori was able to do that and then some. When you have someone that's able to pose that much of a threat with the hero like Tracer, and you add someone like Talking Trees who got more hero damage than Tracer, when you have that two-person tandem backed up by a strong support, you're going to see games where only 2 takedowns happen on the other side.
Right, and one of those was your slug being caught out of position too far up in the top lane, and from an aggressive rotation from a Dahaka and a Valera too. Like, let's just note that it took those two to get the Abathur pick off, and then even then the pick onto Tracer, that was basically no recall in time in that one fight, or no Ancestor. I don't think it was available at that time either. So it's absolutely insane. And you noted that, since you started casting, you've seen Nesper a bunch. I've actually seen quite a few of the members on the opposing team, and it's actually really interesting to see them adapt their playstyle. And they're actually, even when they're down a little bit or they've lost some team fights, you can continually see, as we did on that map, playing aggressive and still not turtling the moment you lose a fight and kind of just being like, all right, well, we'll find our entry point. They're like, no, we're going to continue to fight. I love the Kerosene pickup. It offered more aggression into their composition, and they were continually able to fight, but I just don't think the Valier got the value that they maybe expected or were looking for, and maybe that's where they adjust. And you said it too. I mean, this could be a learning experience. Wrong Orc could just fly right through this bracket, but at the same time, FWC esports, they're making them work for it definitely here.
Yeah, I mean, every team fight is getting earned, for sure. I would not say it by any means that Wrong Orc is just kind of sleepwalking through this portion of the bracket, but they are looking incredibly down.